Hello everyone, and welcome back to the chicken-legged hut. I am the Hermit, and in today's video we'll be brewing up some more potion bottles to decorate the hut. Sort of like our previous potion bottle video, but with a slightly different method. This time we'll be using a mix of water and oil, and since these liquids refuse to work together, what we end up with is this natural separation that makes for a really cool potion effect. But let's not waste any more time and get into the video so you can see for yourself. Troll editor, please play the video.
Listen here, you son of a...
When we did our first potion bottle video, we had a bunch of different ideas for potion names that we wanted to use. And one of them was liquid philosopher stone, which is what this was supposed to be, but as you'll soon see, that doesn't exactly happen. Now I'll be honest, I don't know what we did, but somehow we managed to dye the mineral oil with the dyes in the water, even though they're not supposed to mix. So it should be impossible to do, or at least that's what I thought, but somehow we did it and I have no idea how. So I can't tell you how to prevent it or how to recreate it, but you know, it wouldn't feel like a real project if something didn't go a little wrong at least once. And ultimately we ended up with two cool new decorations, one of them turning out exactly the way we wanted and the other one has completely defied the laws of science, which is pretty cool too, I guess. Anyways, the main idea for this was the dyed water will sit underneath the oil, so while it's sitting on a shelf it just looks like a normal liquid in a bottle, but when shook it will form into little red metallic orbs and float around inside until eventually settling on the bottom again. Now, once the bottle was filled, it was time to add the final touches and seal it off permanently. We went with twine around the neck of the bottle because, well, it just feels the most fitting, and we have a bunch of it sitting around the hut, so it's an easy choice. Then to seal it off, we went with UV resin, since we also have a decent amount of that in the hut. Now, in our last potion bottle video, someone mentioned using seal wax on these, and we still plan to do that, but we made these around the same time we made the original ones, so we didn't have any seal wax at that point. But that's changed and we did pick some up, so we'll probably be messing around with that soon. I just don't know if we'll do another potion bottle video soon, but I'm sure we'll find some other creative use for it. But since we didn't have any seal wax, we tried to get our UV resin to look as close to it as we could with a combination of red alcohol ink and some red mica powder, which might not be completely perfect, but it was close enough. Now, I made up a decent amount of this resin because I knew I wanted to have it dripping down the sides, mostly to hide the fact that the twine was just glued down, but also for art reasons. And since the cork was basically flush with the top, I figured I might as well cover the whole thing up. I tried doing it in layers so I could make sure I was curing the resin as much as possible before covering uncured resin with more resin. However, I do get a little carried away and make a bit of a mess. Now, I'm sure there's a better way of doing this that's less messy and more effective, but I haven't figured it out yet. I guess I could have just been a little more careful and I would have been fine, or I could have done a bunch of small drips around the side, making a small crater I could have filled in with the rest of the resin. I don't know, I guess it doesn't matter now that it's done, just something to keep in mind for future projects. Anyways, once this was sealed, the only thing left to do was slap the label on, but once it was sealed and everyone could shake the hell out of it, it completely changed colors and I had to come up with a completely new idea for the label. So, what was meant to be our liquid philosopher stone ended up turning into liquid horror, which felt like a fitting name considering what a nightmare it was when I came back the following weekend, only to find that it did in fact change and it wasn't just some fever dream I had from the mushrooms that Baba gave me. It also meant that I was going to have to try to make the liquid philosopher stone again and hope that this didn't happen again. Now, while this might not have turned out exactly the way I wanted, I am still kind of happy with the unexpected results. And to quote the great Bob Ross, we don't make mistakes, just happy accidents. Alright, here's where we make the liquid philosopher stone correctly And since I basically explained the idea for this already, there's not much left for me to talk about, other than the fact that I did way more tests to try and make this perfect. Also, quick message for future me from past me: alcohol inks don't mix well with water. They always leave behind chunky bits. Stop trying, just use the food dyes. Honestly, I don't know why I even tried using them. I knew it was going to happen, and I still tried. Sometimes I think I should have been the fool instead of the hermit, but then the fool comes through and does something so dumb that it makes me go, yeah, no, we got it right. Anyways, since the gang's not here, I think I'm gonna go dip into Baba's secret stash and take a smoke break. If you need me, I'll be outside behind the chicken coop, so please sit back, relax, light up your wizard pipes and other smoking utensils, and enjoy the rest of the video.
See? What did I say?
I can't believe this worked.
I told you. All you have to do is hide in the ceiling. They never look up.
I guess I just expected him to be more observant.
Oh, please. They're both dense as rocks. Everyone in this hut is an idiot except for you and me.
Speaking of idiots, what did you do with Donnie?
I buried him in the backyard.
And what about Mr. Freeman?
He's under a mild sleep spell.
Please don't tell me you...
Hit him in the head with a large rock, because that's exactly what I did. He should be out for a couple of hours. I also tied him up and taped his mouth shut just in case the rocking wore off sooner than expected.
Perfect. Another conversation I'll be having with his lawyers, I'm sure.
Don't worry, sweetie. It was a mind-wiping spell as well. So when he wakes up, he shouldn't remember a thing.
I want to believe you, even though I know I shouldn't, so let's just hope you're right.
Of course I'm right. When have I ever been wrong?
Well...
I was right about the troll editor.
Okay.
I was right about hiding in the ceiling.
Yes.
And I was right about that sneaky little shit dipping into my stash.
Well, that is why we put on this elaborate ruse. So you could prove that he was. And he did just basically admit to doing it.
I hate to say it, but I think we have to banish him. Oh well. I'll go grab my banishing rock.
Just hold on a minute. We don't need to banish him just yet.
You have a better idea?
Not really. But let's be honest. Banishing him to some isolated plane of existence isn't much of a punishment. He'd probably just enjoy it.
That's a good point. He's a little freak.
Exactly. Plus, he's kind of like a well of ideas, so it's best to use him until the well runs dry. And then we banish him.
Oh, I like the way you think. Truly diabolical. But are you sure I can't bonk him with my stick when he comes back?
Well, maybe just one good bonk would be fine. Just try not to.
I'm about to bonk his sneaky little ass to the Shadow Realm.
Baba, we just talked about this.
Wait, shut up. I think he's coming back. Quick, get back up in the ceiling before he sees us.
Alright, so there you have it. Our liquid philosopher stone was finally done, and we got a bonus freaking nature potion bottle by complete accident. So I think we can call this one a win. Plus, I always enjoy making these. I love coming up with names and label designs, and it gives me a reason to buy cool glass bottles from the thrift store. Not to mention they just make for great decorations, so 10 out of 10 project anyone could do, and if you have a goblin or witch vibe you're going for, I highly recommend giving this a try. Also, if you made it this far into the video, make sure you leave a like and comment. Tell us what kind of projects you would like to see more of, or just comment, I know you've been hiding in the ceiling the entire time. I'm not that dumb.
Shit.
I told you, this wasn't going to work.
Well, how the hell was I supposed to know?
All right, which one of you fuckers hit me in the head with a giant rock?